So in this second session, we're going to focus on automaticity. First of all, we're going to discuss what automaticity actually is, and then we move on to automatic behavior and the link with mindfulness. Finally, we will discuss automatic cycles and their impact on behavior and how to deal with automatic cycles of thoughts and emotions. So these are the three parts of this presentation. So let's start with the first part, automaticity. What is automaticity? Well, I think the best way to explain automaticity is by starting with an exercise. I would like you to imagine the following scenario. So imagine strolling along a street that you're well acquainted with. As you look up, you notice that there is someone you know on the other side of the road. You smile and wave. However, the person does not respond. The person continues to walk without giving you the slightest reaction. So picture this situation. And as you are imagining this situation, do you notice any of your thoughts? What are you thinking when this happens? And are there any emotions? As you were imagining this scenario, did you notice any of your emotions or feelings coming up? I'm doing this exercise with you because this actually shows a very common automatic pattern and automaticity, namely thoughts. Thoughts often emerge immediately and automatically. I ask you to imagine this scenario of this person, passing by, and if you're like most people, you will have thoughts like, oh, what's going on here? Why is he not, waving, or is he mad at me, or did something happen, or what's going on here? Thoughts often emerge automatically after something like this. And what the mind does, it produces a story. The mind is all over the place. He comes with this idea and this story and what might have happened, what has been the case, and so on and so on. So it's producing stories all the time, and this happens automatically without we even influencing it. And most of the time, these stories are not true. They may contain some truth, but in most cases, these stories are just made up. That's what they are. So this is an example of automaticity, the mind producing automatically stories. So what are automatisms in general? These are things we do that we're not aware of. And what is evident here from this description is actually directly the link with mindfulness, because mindfulness is becoming aware of things. So many of the things that we do are automatic. Many behaviors that we carry out are automatic. And some researchers even believe that about 90% of what we do is automatic. And examples include driving, eating, playing the piano, making gestures, and so on. You do all these things automatically without, consciously paying attention to them. Because you have done them so much, so often, repeated them, you just don't need to think about them anymore. So automatic patterns are built through repetition. By doing them over and over again, they become automatic. So this is what automatism means. What are the benefits? Of course, there are a lot of benefits. You can do things fast and parallel because they're automatic, Often, automatic patterns also include mental shortcuts, For instance, we automatically judge whether we trust a person or not, even if the information that we have is not fully up to date or even complete, but we do so based on stereotypes, based on ideas that we have about people that can be trusted or not. And in most cases, automatically judging people based on beliefs and so on, it can help. And sometimes this is an accurate judgment, but in many cases it's also not. So it's not always accurate, but in some cases it can help us to speed up the process and not necessarily to examine all the options. This is also what we call heuristics. And of course, multitasking. Because you can do something without paying much attention to it, there is more room for attention for other things. So because you learn how to drive, you can talk to the person on the passenger seat. This is something that we call multitasking. This is possible because of automatic patterns, because some of our actions have become automatic. So these are the benefits. But what about the disadvantages? I found this quote, and I think it beautifully summarizes one of the biggest disadvantages of automatic patterns. Namely, we first make our habits, and then our habits make us. So what this quote shows us is that because they are highly automatic and we're not so much aware of them anymore, they slightly become like ingrained in our system. They like become us, and without us being aware of it, our automatic patterns are just the things we do always, the same way. And this is sometimes very dangerous because, because they have become so common and so regular, they're often very difficult to change. And because they're unconscious, many automatic patterns are unconscious. It means that because we don't need to pay attention to them anymore, we're also not in the moment paying attention to them. So for instance, because we can take a walk without thinking, when we walk to our job or to the city or to wherever we go, because we've done something so many times, the mind can do other things. And rather than enjoying the walk and paying attention to the present moment, there is room for doing something else. And in most cases, this is thinking. So a disadvantage of the automatic process of walking a certain route is that we actually don't pay attention to the beauty that surrounds us, the very process of walking. So it also is, automatic patterns also are often the cause for not being in the present moment again. And of course, some of our automatic patterns cause problems. And some examples are automatic desire for alcohol when in a certain place. When somebody who drinks alcohol at fixed places, at certain places, over time, when this person is in this place, just being in the place automatically triggers a desire to drink alcohol. This is what we call like cues. The place is a cue that automatically triggers a desire. Another example is automatic negative thinking when something unpleasant happens. As soon as something negative happens, some people automatically start to think in a negative way and start to connect all kinds of negative thoughts to this situation. And this happens without conscious awareness. It's just something that immediately happens automatically. Or automatically letting emotions guide behavior. Automatically screaming when you're angry, or shouting when you're angry, or running away, or suppressing emotions when you're sad, or whatever it is. These are all examples of automatic patterns that often cause problems. Okay, in this next chapter, we're going to focus on the link between automatic behavior and mindfulness. When a certain situation occurs, and we immediately react to the situation, automatically react, we call this reactivity. So our reaction is the direct result of an automatic behavior. And this is also referred to as impulsivity or just automatic behavior. And there are many examples of reactivity in daily life. For instance, when we receive a snide remark from somebody, we automatically may start shouting. So the reaction shouting is automatic. It follows naturally and directly from the situation that we're in. Another example is when we experience a sad feeling. Automatically, we may start ruminating, thinking about it in a negative way, or trying to push it away. Again, the reaction here, for instance, pushing away the feeling, is automatic. It automatically follows, directly and immediately follows from the very situation that happened. So the big question here is, how can we change automatic behavior? And the answer is simple. The answer is by increasing attention, by increasing mindful attention for what's going on and interrupting these automatic patterns. This is the key process to change. Without being aware of what is causing problems, We cannot simply heal. We cannot simply, improve ourselves. And mindful attention is a key ingredient for changing automatic behavior. So imagine a certain situation occurs. What happens here is when we pay mindful attention, we stop. Rather than just immediately reacting upon the situation and shouting or screaming or suppressing or doing whatever we normally do, we take a pause. We stop and we check what's going on. And after this, we carefully, with mindful attention and deliberate awareness, we react upon the situation. So I always refer to this as the pause, the stopping that is mindfulness in this process. Mindfulness allows you to stop, take a break, and examine what's really going on here before reacting. So this is, you could say, a pause. So what you ask yourself when you're applying mindfulness in this situation is, first of all, what is going on? What do I feel? What am I about to do? What is my impulse here? What is my tendency, And I can give you a very concrete example. I've been doing research with people with overweight, and what we found is that many people, they say, like, when I'm at home, sitting in front of the television, I certainly experience an urge to, to grab a bag of candy. And then I eat it, without even being aware of it, it's already in my hand, and I'm eating it and so on. So what we ask those people to do is, the next time you notice that you have this strong urge, this tendency to grab food, stop. Just don't do it yet, but take a break, and notice what's going on. What's going on here? Okay, I notice I have a strong urge to get some food. Okay, so what do you feel at this moment? I feel like my chest is heavy. I feel like there is some tension in my body. I have certain thoughts in my mind, and thoughts like, I have to eat now. I can't live without this food. I really need it right now. Okay, that's what's going on in your mind. What are you about to do? I'm about to get up. Okay, just notice what this tendency is. Where is it located in your body? What is going on? So this body check and this mental check that's going on in mindfulness, just pausing, allows oneself to not act impulsively, because all that time you were examining yourself, you were not reacting impulsively. And whatever reaction follows, maybe you decide to, get up and get the food. It doesn't matter what it is, but there was a conscious decision to do so. So for instance, if we take the other example, when you receive a snide remark, it would mean getting angry. My God, I notice I'm getting angry. I feel tension in my chest. I want to hurt the other person. These are all insights that result from a mindful stop, from a mindful pause here. And as a result of that, you can make a choice. You can ask yourself, okay, so how am I going to deal with this situation? Am I going to shout? Am I staying calm? Am I walking away? But whatever it is, mindfulness doesn't dictate whatever reaction is needed, but it helps you to make to choose a certain direction that you believe is the best in this situation. So we can say whatever follows, whatever reaction follows, it is a conscious choice. So it's not an impulsive, automatic choice. It is a conscious choice. It's something that you deliberately chose. So this is a very important thing to realize. In the third part, we're going to focus on automatic cycles. And automatic cycles involve thinking and feeling. In the previous chapter, we dealt with automatic patterns of reacting. And in a similar way, what we often do is we experience emotions, and automatically these emotions produce thoughts. And those thoughts, again, produce new emotions. So without knowing it, often we get caught in a cycle of thinking, feeling, thinking, feeling. And what I want to do is I want to explain how this process operates and how you can, break free from it and use mindfulness to disengage from this very unhelpful process. So imagine again a certain situation occurs. You previously did the waving exercise. Well, as a result of this situation, a certain emotion may occur. So for instance, you may feel embarrassed. because you're waving at somebody and he's not reacting. As a result of this feeling of embarrassment, you may have certain thoughts like, oh my God, I hope other people didn't see me, like I'll make a fool out of myself, and so on. As a result of those thoughts, those emotions may become stronger, or different emotions may occur. And again, what happens here is what you see is that without often knowing it, you automatically enter a cycle of thinking and feeling and thinking and feeling. And these processes tend to, make the negative spiral of feelings and thinking worse. So let's give another example here. So imagine you're in a traffic jam. The emotion that you experience probably is frustration. And as a result of that emotion, you may have thoughts like, I hate this, which may even increase the frustration. And note that I'm using the emotion first here, but it may also be, of course, that what follows first is a thought, I hate this, and then the emotion comes up. Whatever is first, it doesn't matter so much. The point here is that it's about this cycle that is initiated by a very situation here. Another example, you receive a bad evaluation, you get frustrated, thoughts come up, why didn't I work harder? You feel guilty. Another thought comes up, I don't want to feel this way, I don't want to feel guilty. And as a result of that, frustration increases and so on. Or you may even experience other emotions as well, anger or whatever. And what you see here in this example again is that thoughts can not only cause certain emotions to intensify, they can also, cause other emotions to emerge. And this is what we refer to as the cycle of feeling and thinking. And often we're captured in this cycle. And the problem is, once we notice that we're captured in this cycle, what we often do is we try to get out of it, obviously. But the ways we try to do that are not very effective often. We try to not feel or think about it, and because we do that, we produce more thoughts and we become more aware of it, and actually are being more caught in this cycle. So it's often very unhelpful, and in the end, the cycle determines what we feel. This game between thoughts and emotions strongly affects how we feel. So how can we leave the cycle? Mindfulness can be used to leave this very negative cycle of thinking and feeling. What you do in the first case is you connect to the present moment. So the only way to get out of this game between thoughts and emotions is to go to another place. We talked about in the first session, we talked about the anchor. Now you can use an anchor. You can use an anchor like the breath or something that is in this present moment. In any case, a place that is different from the emotion or the thoughts that you're having. And from this neutral place, maybe your breath, see if you can allow whatever comes up to be present. Maybe you notice these thoughts, just notice them. Maybe you notice feelings, see if you can allow those feelings to be present. But you do not engage in them anymore. And maybe you also notice that after a while, your thoughts are again automatically attracting your attention, and you're lost again in this cycle of thinking and feeling. But that's okay. As soon as you notice, just breathe or connect to something else that is in this present moment and step out of this cycle. And this is exactly what mindfulness does. So using the anchor and returning to the anchor allows you to step out of the cycle. So when we take the picture that I showed you before as well, the situation and the emotions and thoughts that follow from this situation automatically, what mindfulness does, it helps you to become aware of this process by noticing what you feel and noticing what you think, just observing them and gaining distance here. And by doing that, you automatically break this cycle of thinking and feeling. So this is basically what mindfulness can do. Thank you for your attention.